All right, there we go. All right, make sure I got everything set up. Why is it telling me to rotate my device so it's not gonna let me record like this? All right, well, I'm gonna try it. Okay, it's not cooperating with me. All right, y'all bear with me. My bad. I thought I had this set up already. I don't like this angle. Anyways, hey guys, I am Aaron Bull. Welcome to this Saturday's version of Live. I have quite a few things to cover today. Y'all bear with me. I got this new phone holder that is not cooperating with me. But anyways, all right, so let's get into it. Like I said, I got a lot of things to cover. So don't mind me. I have stuff written down because I wanted to make sure to cover everything. So anyways, as the title says, today I want to talk about R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, and the impact on the Black community. A lot of people have been trying to dismiss both of these, I guess, issues or cases or whatever as just entertainment news, without giving, I guess, fact to the or give without pointing out that the issues at hand are real. Now, whether I got a weird, that wasn't even a phone call. I don't know, somebody just up and called me on Duo. But anyway, sorry guys. But I was saying that the R. Kelly and Michael Jackson situations are relevant to the community because they speak to issues that take place in our everyday community. And whether you believe the girls in the R. Kelly case or the boys in the Michael Jackson situations, both of them present, like I said, real life situations that are going on in our everyday working communities. So I think that we need to pay attention to those for sake of understanding and allowing victims to speak and giving them the respect of hearing their stories. I don't think that we need to, believe one or the other just off the muscle. But one situation or one thing that is true is that it's a hard thing to talk about when you've been molested as an adult and certainly as a child. And in the case of Michael Jackson, a lot of people ask, well, why did they take so long to come forward? And I guess in the R. Kelly case too, but mainly with the Michael Jackson situation, they were children at the time that this was happening. And, there are a lot of things that you experience as a child that you don't even have words for. You don't have any, you don't know how to describe that. And especially in the case of Michael Jackson, it wasn't a violent thing. They weren't being handcuffed, they weren't being hurt, they weren't being shackled or, locked up or anything violent. So it was hard for a child to understand that these things that were going on were wrong, especially because it came from somebody that, they looked up to, that they believed in. So, as children, we are naive enough to believe that adults will not lead us down the wrong path, even though they may lead us down a path that separates us from our parents and maybe goes against some of our parents' teachings or things that our parents have taught us. In a child's mind, just adults are not bad. Adults do not take you down the wrong road. So these boys thought that they were doing something, I guess, for somebody that they loved. And they honestly believed that Michael loved them based on the story. So let me pause and say that I am not on anybody's side. However, I do think that all victims deserve a voice. So, that's my stance on that. And one of the biggest contrasts between R. Kelly and Michael Jackson is that, I've noticed that it hasn't been so much pushback concerning Michael Jackson, but with R. Kelly, baby, these people are fighting and people are still defending R. Kelly. And R. Kelly is alive, first of all, to defend himself. And if you all saw the interview that he gave with Gayle King, baby, please. Any woman that has ever dealt with a black man and seen him caught in a lie, that's his reaction. That's his response. That way, period. And to me, even if you have never seen the Surviving R. Kelly series and didn't hear the interviews and whatnot conducted with the girls, to see R. Kelly act like that, that's not the way that you act when you're innocent. Period, point blank. That's just not the way you act when you're innocent. And again, these are just my personal thoughts and opinions. I would like to hear your thoughts and opinions on both situations. Now, I guess I'm split. Like with the R. Kelly situation, I really do believe that he did it. With Michael Jackson, I'm not certain. I'm not certain. I can definitely say that Michael needed help. Even if you take away the pedophilia issues, he needed help. Okay, he needed some help. And my heart broke in watching Leaving Neverland on like across the board. My heart hurt for Michael. My heart hurt for those boys, especially if the allegations are true. I had mixed emotions watching Leaving Neverland. I think that the creator or the writer or whatever you call him did a good job of not just creating a bias against Michael. He allowed the boys to tell their story, and they went into some graphic and great detail. But I think that the writer did a good job and not necessarily leaving anything out other than the fact that Michael is dead and can't defend himself. But he did allow like the points of doubt to be shown. For example, the mother of one of the boys admitted that Michael bought them a house and did this and did that, and he was part of their family. And the fact that they actually turned their children over to a grown man that they didn't even know. They literally turned their boys over to Michael Jackson himself, not Michael Jackson's babysitter, his nanny, housekeeper, or anybody that has any type of capability of caring for a child. You turn your child over to an entertainer. Period. Like that. Even if there were no pedophilia concerns, how about the safety of your child? How about that concern? And then they knew that the boys were sleeping in the same bed as Michael Jackson, sleeping in the same bed as a grown man. When I was a little girl, I was like 12 or 13, went to stay with my grandparents in South Carolina. I have two male cousins, they're brothers. I wanted to go spend the night at their house. Baby, my parents said no, my grandparents said no, their parents said no. You are a girl, you are not going to sleep over there with them boys. And these were my cousins. So where was your, saying concern for the safety of your child that you would turn your 7 or 10-year-old child over to a grown man that you don't know? And he's not a teacher. He's not a basketball coach. He's a working man. That's like, I don't understand that. But I digress. I got kind of off task a little bit. But it's a bunch of different things. And also in the Leaving Neverland, I guess, documentary, they presented the two cases that Michael actually had charges brought up on him about. The first one was Jordy, which was settled out of court. And with that one, one of the mothers of the children actually said something that I thought was quite profound. Like, how much money is it gonna take for you to say it was okay to molest my child? Because like, why did the parents settle out of court if it was true? Why didn't you pursue it to the fullest extent of the law? Because you could actually file two ways. You could file criminal charges and then file a civil suit for child endangerment and all of the other charges, that would have some monetary penalties for it. You didn't have to just settle for money. If that man was guilty and you really believed it, why not just pursue it to the fullest extent? Have that man, don't stop until that man is arrested, is in jail. And what else? So I think that's pretty much it. I know I got kind of long-winded and digressed, but I will say that for Leaving Neverland, I think it was a good documentary. I think it was necessary. And I think that if you look at it as an awareness video, you'll start to understand how children can be kind of tricked or manipulated into participating in their own abuse. I don't think that the children are at fault. I think that they, are doing what they thought they should do as a loving person, you know. And I think if you look at how it takes place in our society, maybe you'll understand it a little more, and maybe have more of a sympathetic ear to alleged victims of child molestation, child abuse, sexual misconduct with children, and things like that, because that happens with coaches, teachers, youth pastors, Catholic priests. Okay, we know this, but a lot of the times you wonder, how did a child not know when they're children? They're children. And, as parents, we teach children to respect authority, respect adults, and do as they're told. So there comes a conflict between doing what you're told and doing what's right. And, children do not have the ability to distinguish that without constant guidance. And when you're in situations where you're separated from your parents who give you these values, and these ethics and morals and sense of understanding and, learning right from wrong and things like that, it starts to get fuzzy, But let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to cover. Um, One thing that I think that both of these cases point out, if you look at it, is that as a Black community, we have a hard time accepting that these things go on, But if you ask anybody, you can ask your family, you can ask your friends, do you know anyone that has ever been molested or sexually abused as a child or as an adult? If you can get to three, three people who say, no, I have not been a victim and I don't know any victims, then you're an anomaly, because it is a long ongoing process or problem. Sorry, not process, but it's an ongoing thing that I think it's time for people to speak up about it. And as far as why do people take so long to come out about it, because especially when it's done to you as a child, again, there are things that are happening to you or things that you're experiencing that you don't understand the depth of it. You don't understand how wrong it is, or that it's even wrong, even in the part that you play in that. And then there's a part of a guilt, because as an adult, you learn to take responsibility for your own actions. But you have to understand, as a child, you were not responsible for that, because you were just doing what you were told, and what you believed, and with the mind of a child. So there's I guess a split between the adult mind processing right and wrong versus a child's mind not knowing right and wrong. And sometimes when things happen to you as a child, um, that's not a violent situation or a truly just physically painful situation. The emotional pain comes out later. As you get older, you start to have, habits and different, ways and things that you don't fully understand. No, why am I like this? You start having kind of maybe self-hate, and you don't understand what's going on with you until you look back. And, like, from my own experience, when I was about 7 or 8 years old, my mother had a female racquetball partner, and they went to play racquetball, and the lady left her son at our house to watch me and my brother. And the boy, I don't even know how old he was. I know he was a teenager. He might have been 14, 15, 16, maybe 17, something like that. However old he was old enough to be considered responsible enough to look out for children, to watch over young children. And he actually tricked me into performing oral sex on him. And it wasn't until I was an adult that I realized that, because the way he presented it was, you know, do this as a magic trick. Let me show you something. I didn't know. You know, I mean, and it was a one-time thing, and I don't know whatever happened. I know the boy never kept us again. I don't know what happened with that. I don't even think that my mother knows that that happened. But I mean, once that that incident happened, I never thought about it again until I saw the Michael Jackson documentary. When I was sitting there thinking, I was like, oh, wait a minute. It just came back. You know, and even in the documentary, the boys' turning points for both of them was that they had their own sons. So as they had children, and those boys started to get of age and closer to the age where, you know, those things started to happen with them, then they were like, you know, it gave them a different awareness, and things started coming back. So that's allegedly why they presented their cases today. But anyways, I know I packed a lot in this video and I kind of went all over the place, but I think I did a pretty good job of sticking to the subject. But y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. Please hit like and make sure you subscribe, and I will see you soon. Of course, I am Erin Bull, and thank you for watching. Y'all have a great day.